Step in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush. Throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And MMA finest, we're the real tough guys. Breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon, like a warrior I stand. Slaying blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast. Locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with my golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast. Locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like the golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
Yes. That is us. My name is Matt. D Rose is right over there. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. What is this, number 157, D Rose? I feel like we got to 100 mad quick, and then it's just been like really slow from that point on. But hey, we on 157. Appreciate y'all stopping by tonight. If y'all wouldn't be so kind, treat that like button like Malcolm Wellmaker treated Cameron Simon this past weekend, if you don't mind.
Don't break your stuff in that process. Then, if you're going off that, don't break your belongings by doing
it. Hey, but if you hit the like button, that would help us out greatly. Leave us a comment, share this with all your friends that are interested in UFC, all that good stuff. With that being said, on today's show, what we are going to be talking about is, really quick, we are going to recap this past weekend's UFC Kansas City. I got to eat some beans, unfortunately, but not looking forward to that. We've got some UFC fight news and announcements to go over, and I know Dave is excited for that portion of the show. And then this weekend, we're going to make our picks and our preview for UFC Des Moines, Iowa. Of course, Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. What a weird place the UFC is going. And then me and D-Rose will try to cook up our two favorite plays and give it to y'all as the podcast parlay of the week. We need to get back to hitting that, D-Rose. That hadn't hit in a few weeks, dude.
Yes. And the worst part is, it was just me missing. Now we're both missing. So now it's like, you can't even use one of our two most confident plays in like a parlay or anything. Like, we both been missing, dude. But we getting it right this week. We getting it right.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We got Dave in here. Alexa, play Unlocked Up. We got Austin in here. Hola, K Pasa. What's going on, Austin? How you doing, brother? We got David in here. Sorry, Dave. We got Antoine here with the yo. And replying to Austin as well. We got Austin saying, anyone wants some really nice Michel Pereira PSA 10 rookie cards for cheap? Don't do that, Austin. Don't do that, man. It's sad. It's sad what happened. We're going to talk about it, but don't do that, man. No, not at all. Austin, I'll never bet the Malador again. Oh, no.
Never.
Yeah, Malcolm Wellmaker's on fire. Y'all saw he quit his job. Hell yeah. Shout out Malcolm Wellmaker. That's what's up. And then we got What's Good, fellow Chucker, I see. I don't know what that is, dear. What is that?
I don't know. I couldn't even venture a guess. Couldn't even venture a guess.
How do you feel about the Chiefs chant during the Rose during the card, D-Rose. Sorry.
Hey, as a Florida State fan, that's the war chant. That's not the Chiefs chant. That's the war chant for Florida State. I mean, the Chiefs adopted that from Florida State. Hey, you know what? It's all good. I liked it. I liked that they were. I think it was during the Oama fight. You know, they were kind of cheering for Oama by doing the war chant. So, I mean, I thought it was a cool thing and kind of, you know, a nice little addition to the crowd. And the crowd is pretty good overall. So, yeah, I didn't mind it.
Fair. Easy Dean missed the giveaway, but just want to say congrats on 5K. Been watching since around 10ish. Your pack openings popped up on my suggestions. The McGregor and Patty autos are awesome. Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate you watching my videos, brother. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for stopping by. With that being said, D-Rose, that's through the comments. Let's get into our UFC Kansas City recap real quick. So, yeah, this past weekend, UFC was in Kansas City. Headlined Ian Machado Gary taking on Carlos Prates, dude. And if I'm going to be completely honest, just speak you how I truly feel about that fight. Dude, for a 14-fight card, until the 4th round of that fight, dude, I was like, hey, can we have something happen here? Whether it's someone, you know, land a clean punch on someone. But it was just, I don't know. That fight was boring as all hell until the 4th round, where Carlos Prates, you know, started, I guess, putting his foot on the gas. And in that 5th round, dude, I thought he might have a chance to finish Ian Gary. Also, what was up with Dan Mergliotta wanting to stop the fights early all night? Because it happened in the main event too. Like, there was like 6 seconds left in the round, and he just stops the round. Anyway, then in the 5th round, Carlos Prates had a few chances to maybe finish, but it was almost like, I mean, it was the 5th round. Both fighters were pretty tired at that point. I think Carlos Prates has 5-round cardio, but with that being said, after the fight, Ian came out, was like, "No, I was just trying to stay safe during like the 5th round." And when you watched it, you're like, "Dude, what? Like, what are you talking about?" He was like kind of roasting your ass there, like in the last like 2 minutes of the fight. But anyway, it is what it is. Ian Gary wins via decision, and you win the pick champ this week. So let me go ahead and get rid of this bad boy. What's your thoughts on the main event this past weekend, D-Rose?
Yeah, man, I thought it was a good performance from Ian Gary. I think the big thing about this fight versus the Shavkat fight, so both of them, okay, he's taken on short notice, but at least for the Shavkat fight, he actually had the fight scheduled against Joaquin Buckley, and it was only a week apart from that Shavkat fight. So all Ian Gary did was take a fight a week sooner than what he normally would have, but he had most of his camp already done and out the way. This fight is a little bit different because he did take it off the couch, off, what was it, 25 or so odd days. And for him to end up accepting 5 rounds as well, I think that's just, you know, something to give him credit for as far as his toughness and his gameness and him just be ready to go out there and go get it. I mean, I thought he really dominated the first 3 rounds. I thought when, you know, he had ended up getting Carlos Prates on the ground at the end of the first and was landing some of that ground and pound, it looked pretty good. I was like, man, he's you know, he's controlling the fight, you know, how he wants it to go. Man, you can see in that 4th round though, he had just started to wear down. And I just hear of a lot of people poking at him about his cardio, but he did take this fight on 25 days notice and accepted the 5-round fight. So am I expecting him to have 5-round cardio taking the fight on such short notice like that without a real camp to get ready for this fight? No, I'm not going to expect that. And, you know, he did start to wear off there later in those rounds. Carlos Prates had some moments there in the 5th. You know, he was chasing him down. Ian Gary did make a mention. I listened to his post-fight press conference, and he did mention that Prates did kind of hurt him a little bit. He said he was staying safe, but he said also because Prates, you know, had kind of stunned him a little bit, and, you know, he was trying to make sure he didn't, you know, get a couple more big shots landed on him. So credit to Ian Gary for being able to weather the storm there in the 5th round. I thought he controlled the fight. Other than that, Prates just, you know, he looked like he was just really having a really hard time just finding Ian Gary with that big shot. And, it kind of went how I thought, that if Protez couldn't land that big shot, that Ian Gary would just kind of take over. And that's really just how it played out.
Yeah, kind of turned into just the Ian Gary fight where he just kind of shuts you down. And, like we said last week, a lot of people don't like him, but he's still a great fighter. Like, you can hope that he just gets knocked out. But, at the end of the day, chances are it's probably not going to happen because he's a good fighter.
He did hurt Protez there in the third round. I did forget to make mention of that too. Like, he landed that uppercut and landed a couple of big shots. I think if that's Ian Gary, who might have came in with a little bit better shape and a little bit more of a camp, maybe he tries to go for the finish in that instance. I think he doesn't go for the finish there because he doesn't want to wear himself out, because he knows he has 2 other rounds to go if he doesn't get him out of there right there.
Yeah. What do you think about Ian trying to be like the backup for UFC 315 in Canada?
I mean, and credit to him for being game. I mean, I think, that's something that could maybe get him a payday, especially if he goes in and weighs in and fights. But I don't see the Bilal and JDM fight like not happening unless like it's got to be like similar to like a Tony Habib type situation where it's just dire health consequences end up coming into it, because don't see JDM really being able to be the one to turn down a title fight. And if he doesn't take this opportunity now, welterweight is so hot at this point that this opportunity is going to pass him by, because you got Shavkat, you got Ian Gary, you got Joaquin Buckley. So JDM, it's kind of like a now or never thing for him. And Bilal, he's on the clock. He's looking to get a payday. He hasn't fought in almost a year since that Leon Edwards fight. So, I mean, I see that fight going on. But credit to Ian Gary for wanting to even have the guts to step in 2 weeks later, even though I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it'd be rough. Anyway, co-main event, Anthony Smith gets his retirement fight. Unfortunately, gets knocked out in the first round, but that kind of went exactly how we kind of thought it was going to go, man. What's your thoughts on the retirement package that the UFC had ready for Anthony Smith there?
I was just reading some of the comments, and that's why
Dave's a savage, huh? Dave's a savage.
Absolutely wild, dude. Y'all are crazy, man. Oh my goodness. Nah, man. This Anthony Smith just expected. People were giving TJ Dillashaw crap for kind of pooping on Anthony Smith, and look. I love Anthony Smith. I wanted him to win the fight, even though it was basically set up for Zayn to get the win. I wanted him to try to get a win. I've loved watching him fight for a long time. He was my favorite fighter at 205 there for a little bit, because he was, just game as ever to go in there and fight anybody, anytime. And I still remember him taking the fight against Gustafsson on like a month and a half. I think it was like a month and a half right after the Jones fight. I mean, he got beat up pretty bad in that fight, turned right around, and ended up submitting Alexander Gustafsson, who's, one of the best 205ers at that time. But, man, it's just that his last few fights, he just keeps shelling up and stuff and just letting the opponent just beat the will out of him. He came out and fought kind of hard to start the fight. I will give Anthony Smith credit there, because he came out and was swinging pretty hard. He was landing some of those elbows in the clinch himself. But it was like, as soon as he landed that elbow, Zayn was like, oh, you want to play elbows? You want to play elbows? It just, bow, and just landed those slicers, dude. Split Anthony Smith wide open, man. That blood was rough when so
dude, he had a pull of it.
Dude, yes. And when he ended up, like, when he was on the ground and they wiped it off and then it started running again. So Amber ended up seeing it, and she was like, like, she literally started like dry heaving as soon as she saw it, like, just because it was like, just because it was just a big old chunk of blood that ended up coming out, dude. I mean, took a lot of damage, man, but credit to Anthony Smith and his career. But the weird send-off, dude, why are you sitting there flicking off a dude in the crowd? Like,
right.
What do you like, why are you giving that dude any type of acknowledgement whatsoever?
Right,
he's
dude.
like, it's a guy in a Nebraska shirt and blah, blah, blah. Like, why are you even giving this dude any type of acknowledgement whatsoever? You're Anthony Smith, dude. You're set up for life with the commentary thing. The UFC seems to have a soft spot for you. just ride off into the sunset and do your thing. That person, they don't mean a damn thing, but he's sitting.
They
there
got
blowing it
exactly
up,
what they
making it bigger than
wanted.
what it should be. Yeah, exactly. And then that one big dude sitting there, and he's like, "Me?
It wasn't me." And that's exactly who it was.
Yeah,
Like the
you
giant
big
dude. You look like the Kool-Aid man in a Nebraska shirt. Yes, you.
Oh, yeah, you. Yeah. Shit lying ass.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on down. Giga Chicad, David Oama. David Oama does win via decision. It was very hairy, a lot of spots in that fight, and this was for the pick champ. This one arguably could have gone the other way, D-Rose. What's your thoughts on David Oama versus Giga Chicad?
I truthfully, I don't think it should have went the other way, just because Giga, it's one way to beat him, man. And I will, David Oama, he was keeping it standing in the first round. He actually ended up, I don't think he hurt Giga significantly, but he landed a pretty big uppercut that got Giga backing up there for a second. And, David Oama was going in there with his normal striking, trying to go in there and go for a finish. I will give David Oama credit. Most of the time, I don't come away from his fight saying they're boring. Like, he's normally in a slugfest, win, lose, or draw. This fight, it was just, hey, he had to get the W against a guy who was ranked. He ended up getting stunned there at the end of the first round. And then he ended up going for the takedown. And it was like, once he realized he can get the takedown, he was like, oh, this is easy. And anytime I need to get this, I can get this. Yeah, okay. Like, every time he went for a takedown, he was able to get it. Now, Giga, was fighting there for a little bit, but, I mean, there was points and times, especially in the third round, where Onama's doing just enough to maintain top position because Giga's just not offering that much resistance on the ground. Giga's always been dangerous on the feet, man, but I think, that Calvin Kattar loss really did expose a lot with him. And, fighters have kind of taken that game plan ever since. Now, Calvin Kattar ended up beating Giga down on the feet once he ended up wrestling him to kind of wear him down a little bit. But most fighters are taking that game plan that you can take Giga down and it's easy to beat him.
He was still headbutting his fucking punchers, though, against fucking Kattar.
Yeah. Dude, and that lasts like 10, 20 seconds when Kattar is just like absolutely bombing on him. Dude, he landed like an elbow and Giga just like, I'm like, dude, it is like Kattar
like headbutts.
Magnets. He had magnets in his hands and elbows, and they were magnets towards Giga's head. Like, he could not miss, and Giga did not go away. That is one thing I will give Giga credit for, is that dude, he does not quit. You can't get him out of there. You can't. You got to sub him because you're not going to knock him out.
Yeah, man. But I thought it was a close fight. But
a couple punches from Oama too. He ended up taking that big uppercut, dude. Like, he was putting a couple of them there too. He's that's his famous defense.
I think my thing is for the for this fight though is like once David Oama got on top though, it was like he was just holding on for dear life. Like he was like, I cannot lose this position because if I have to stand again, I'm in trouble. And it's like he didn't do shit on the ground. So that's why I'm like, man, like I didn't really look into that too much. But at the end of the day, David Oama does win via decision and does help the Heroes get the pick champ. This one right here, Michel Pereira, Abusamed, the parlay buster of the week. Dude, Michel Pereira went in there like he just now got in a 15-minute fight, like right before he walked out. It was like he was dead tired before the fight even started, dude. I was like, maybe he's just kind of saving his energy. But at the end of the second round, dude, it's like I could tell that he was sweating a shit ton and he wasn't in the best shape either, dude. So I don't know if he was like sick or something, but that was not the Michel Pereira that any of us expected. And, I hate to say it, but that kind of makes me not really a fan a little bit with that fucking performance, dude. Because that was bullshit. It's like, did he even do? Through the first two rounds, I don't even know if he threw a strike, man. It's like, hey, fucking hop off the cage, do a backflip, kick him in the face or something, dude. Like, you're Michel Pereira. You're just fucking. He was just getting boxed up by Abusamed, and then in the third, it looked like he kind of tried a little bit, but even still, it was like, dude, it's fucking too late now. But anyway, what's your thought on the Abusamed?
I mean, I'm sitting here laughing because I had to laugh through the pain because I sent you the screenshot, man. I had a 7-leg parlay, just money.
We all did.
All winners. Yeah. 10 to win 140. I mean, I'm feeling good. And Michel Pereira was the only one on that to not hit. And I had Michel Pereira and Zayn left on the parlay. So it was like, man, like really busting me up. I'm with you, dude. Like, even like, so I was watching it on YouTube TV, so I did not end up seeing the walkout. I don't know if they showed that on ESPN Plus.
No,
but I ended up watching it after the fact when he ended up doing the walkout to Not Like Us, and he did like the little dance or whatever. Even that looked tired, dude. Like, he was just like, he started doing the basically the same step that Kendrick Lamar did at the Super Bowl. And that was it. Like, even that, he looked like he was tired. Like, if I had seen that beforehand, like, I would have just cashed out that bet I had and just been like, nah, I'm good. Because he's about to lose this fight. And he just came out there and just did absolutely nothing, for the most part. And I don't know if he was injured. As you said, I don't know if he was sick. But just for me, I mean, Abus really just didn't have to do too much except for defend a couple of teep kicks here and there. And
he was still tired in the third, too.
Yeah, and that's just not the Michel Pereira dude. He looks so, like you said, in the third they were exhausted. But that's the thing, is that the first 2 rounds Michel Pereira wasn't doing that much. So it's like, why are you this tired for you to not be doing anything? Like, it was just so unbelievable, man. So that's what, like you said, is he sick? Was there an injury? We seen him be the high
flyer. Did he get a call from Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Did he? Because we're used to seeing him be the high flyer, Hell, he's jumping off the cage, doing backflips and all this types of.
There wasn't even a backflip at the weigh-in yet. Fucking Friday. That's when I should have known something was up. Because there was no backflip off the scale Friday.
That's a good point.
Damn,
you know what?
Dude.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. You was on to something. Yeah, that's crazy because he did not have the energy, man. It was definitely disappointing.
So Michel's wife accusing him of cheating on her. I think they might have played a part. Well, I mean, maybe. But if he didn't do it, what does he have to feel guilty about? Anyway, with that being said, that fight burned all of us. Anyway, moving on down, Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby, dude. This fight was a banger, dude. This fight ended in the second round, a minute into the second round. But Randy Brown doing what Randy Brown does, feeling good in the first round, feeling all comfortable, throws a hook and gives Nicholas Dalby a Mike Perry nose midway through the first round. That shit was like on the other side of his face. But he was like, oh, your nose is broken. And he's like doing the Randy Brown shit. And then he steps back and Nicholas Dalby comes over top and fucking drops Randy Brown. Like, every Randy Brown fight, I'm like, this motherfucker he plays around too much and he thinks he's way better than what he actually is. He has the skills, but he can also get fucking wobbled too. Anyway, Nicholas Dalby drops Randy Brown at the end of the first round, rides out the round there. Round 2 starts. It's like both fighters throw game plans out the window and just go in there and swing dicks, T-Rose. They went in there, set their nuts on the table, and I don't want to, make any stereotypes, but Randy Brown had the much bigger balls. He had the much bigger schlong in this dick throwing competition. He snoozed Nicholas Dalby. First time he's ever been knocked out face down in the octagon, dude. What are your thoughts, Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby?
Yeah, I think it was the first time Nicholas Dalby has ever been finished in a fight. So
he's been submitted by Jesse Ronson, but then Jesse Ronson was on steroids, so it got removed. So
right, that's right.
Yes, but no. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I guess officially, as far as especially being knocked out, never been knocked out, and despite fighting, a lot of sluggers for the most part. And I think it really had a lot to do with that broken nose. As you said, dude, that nose was nasty. He must have readjusted it in the middle of the first round. Like, I didn't see him actually go down and do it, but it was like all the way over here. And then all of a sudden, right there at the end of the round, it kind of ended up, kind of coming back towards the middle a little bit. you could just see all the swelling there at the top. Just absolutely beautiful shot from Randy Brown. As you said, filmed himself there a little bit, ended up getting dropped, but Randy Brown does get caught a lot in his fights, man. It's almost just kind of par for the course at this point. But I will say that fun fight, man. I mean, that performance like that though, I mean, that's a performance that that hey, if I see Randy Brown on the next card, I'm gonna be like, shit, I'm gonna be excited to watch his next fight. And normally he doesn't fight like that, but for him to go in there and they kind of have like a Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. For them to have like a Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway type moment, man. I mean, I thought that was pretty badass. And for Randy Brown to literally just sleep him like that might be knockout of the year so far. Between him and Hoofy for sure. And yeah, man, that was awesome fight.
One thing I do have a question about though with Randy Brown, dude. When is he gonna fight someone that's not 40 years old? Because you just look who he's been fighting. It's like Zaleski, fucking Nicholas Dalby, Francisco Trinaldo, Muslim Salikov, Francisco Trinaldo. Kind of like someone that's going to be fighting this upcoming weekend, Montel Jackson. Like, hey, when are you guys going to fight someone that's not 50 years old? Like, do you want to advance in their ranks or not? Because both of them kind of on the same page. It's like both of them just seem to be knocking out these old dudes, and both of them has been in the UFC for a while now. Like, are you going to fucking step up at all, even in the slightest? Because when Randy Brown did step up, you got mollywopped by Jack Della. So I mean,
well, to be fair, every time he's taken a step up, he's got also he took a step up against Vicente Luque and got walloped in that fight. And got walloped in that fight too. So he has, to his credit, he has tried. But every time he ends up trying to fight one of those guys, he ends up getting clobbered and knocked back down.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Anyway, moving on down. Ikram Al-Skarov smokes Andre Manise in the first round, as expected, dude. I mean, that was like I said, if this fight started on the ground, Andre Manise would have a chance. But it's not going to start on the ground. And Andre Manise ain't going to get Ikram to the ground. Ikram Al-Skarov first round knockout. Anything there, or did not surprise you at all?
Not surprising me, man. But Ikram, good bounce back win for him. And dude, he looks dangerous, man. Like
looks a little chunky. Not gonna lie. I was like,
but
could he go down to 170?
Maybe I don't know. But I mean, if he's got, I mean, I know everybody knows the background of him against Hamza and yada yada. But Hamza did not take him down once in that fight. So, I mean, if he's able to stuff takedowns like that against a guy like Hamzat at 185, I'm going to like his chances against a lot of other guys in the wrestling department. And as long as he can clean up a little bit of that striking defense, Robert Whitaker was able to get in there with the uppercut. Obviously, Hamzat got him that way as well. If he can clean some of that stuff up, man, because that left hook, that was a pretty left hook, man. Just snuck it in there. Kind of Alex Pereira like, kind of how he hit Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill just got hit and got shook. Andre Manise, same way. His legs just gave out and he just fell. So Ikram got power, man, and he's dangerous.
Give me Ikram versus Paulo, the rematch that D-Rose called off. Book it back now, dude. Book that shit back.
Yes. Yeah. Now is a good time to book that fight. Now would be a very good time to book that fight, but. We know Paulo ain't gonna take that fight, man.
No. Anyway, prelims match now, Jimmy Flick, dude. How did this shit go to decision, man? Like, I don't even know, man. It's like there were so many scrambles in that fight. There was like so many moments in that fight that shit could have finished, but it didn't. It just didn't finish. Evan Elder defeats Gage Young via decision. Chris Gutierrez defeats John Castaneda via decision. Damon Blackshear defeats Elatong Haley via decision. Malcolm Wellmaker. Can we just pause here, dude? Dude, this was one of the ones when it's like when I was watching the tape, when I seen him knock out, like, give people baby deer legs and shit with headgear and like big boxing gloves, I'm like, dude, what is this dude going to do to people with 4-ounce gloves inside UFC? And he smoked both people that have seen him fight now. So This kid for sure got power, was able to get the 50K bonus and quit his job on Monday. Shout out Malcolm Wellmaker, dude. Absolutely demolished Cameron Simon. And then Jackie Amarim gets the second round submission over Polyana Viana. Timmy Kwamba knocks out Roberto Romero in the second round, and Jocelyn Edwards knocks out Chelsea Chandler in the first round. That one squashed a bunch of my parlays early too, because I had Jocelyn Edwards 3-0 decision in quite a bit.
Yep. So I like I said, I had her in like 1 or 2 before round 3 decision, and yeah, just absolutely burned me, dude. It's like, why can you Chelsea Chandler, that the stoppage was kind of early. I mean, let's say that. Like, I mean, she got thumped. I mean, she did get thumped, but I mean, she kind of like turned over because, trying to give herself a way to defend herself. But I know she didn't run across the octagon this time. She even had more space to run. She
like went to the corner and got stuck there. It was like she had cage on both sides of her, so she had nowhere to run. And she just got Alex Pereira left hooked. She just went out.
Dude, Jocelyn Edwards, she was swinging for the fences too. I give her credit. She was trying to go for the knockout. But yeah, I'm like, Chelsea Chandler, you have so much more octagon room to run. Run away this time. Like, I need a round 3 decision here. Like, just run around the octagon for dear life. We know you're not going to win. Just avoid damage at all costs, and she couldn't.
She did not. She did not. So, with that being said, let's get into the bean eating. This past weekend, we had different picks on Polyana Viana versus Jacqueline Amarim, Malcolm Wellmaker, Cameron Simon, Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick, Nicholas Dalby versus Randy Brown, Giga Chicad versus David Oama, and Carlos Prates versus Ian Gary. In all of those fights, I went Polyana Viana, Malcolm Wellmaker, Matt Schnell, Nicholas Dalby, Giga Chicad, and Carlos Prates. You'll probably notice, that's about even. Which one of y'all won? Well, the only 3 that matter were Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Thank goodness. That was like my most confident play of the card. That should have been my only bet of the card, but instead, my bet for the most confident play on the card was the under in the Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick, but that shit didn't happen either. Anyway, Malcolm Wellmaker wins for me. Unfortunately, Giga Chicad versus David Oama was the second one that counts, and the third one that counted was Carlos Prates versus Ian Gary. So D-Rose picks up the win with David Oama and Ian Gary, which means you boys got to eat some Bean Boozled this week. The 6th generation. Ooh. Oh, God, D-Rose.
Dun, dun, dun.
It sucks to Chandler lose like that. I mean, let's not pretend like 135 is the greatest division. They're probably not going to cut.
Well,
they're
let's not act like Chelsea Chandler is like some sacred fighter or something like that either. Like, it's Chelsea Chandler. Calm down.
Yeah, anyway. D-Rose, do you want the music this week?
Let's hit it.
All right. We are going, let's go lo-fi. Here we go. Got some Bean Boozled here. Liver and onions, old bandage, dirty dishwater, stink bug, an old rug, water in the bathtub.
New bean bop, and we can't stop. And
this looks like it's going to be stinky socks or tutti frutti. Oh,
bean
God,
bop.
dude.
Let's hope it can get the stinky sock. It tastes like a big fat
rock. It don't taste bad. I don't know what it tastes like, but it ain't that bad.
Boo. Boo-hoo! We need a bad bean for the good views. We in here all night. Give me the good bean. So, we need a bad
right, so next one.
I need a booger.
It's all my teeth.
Dirty dish soap.
Oh.
Rest in peace to the Pope. Hey. Will it be red bandage? about to
It's
chew
either
his guts out.
Bandage or
can't stand
pomegranate. Bandage or pomegranate. Here we go. Please don't be old bandage. You would hate this one.
Oh, Bandage. Matt really can't stand it. He gonna put it in the bag. He gonna put it in the bag. He about to hang.
Oh, dude, that was so bad, dude.
Oh, Bandage is back
Oh.
with the bean attack. Bean pop. Old Bandage back again.
Dude, that's the fucking worst one. I don't care what anyone says, dude.
I don't even think you've gotten the pomegranate, dude. That's
Never.
the worst part.
Like,
Like every time it's red, like you have gotten the Old Bandage. Like it has never been pomegranate. Like it's crazy.
No.
I've gotten the pomegranate a couple times, and I will say it is probably the best bean out of all of them.
Dude, it's like imagine what you think an old Band-Aid tastes like, and that is exactly what that tastes like, dude. Like,
it's like when you're a kid and you fall and like scrape your leg on the ground, and you got that Band-Aid on, and right before you get in the shower, you rip it off, and you're like, "Take a bite."
that's what it tastes like, dude. Here we go. Anyway, D-Rose coming to you. Here we go. This is about to be the most relaxed beating session in TGO history. Okay. Boo hiss. Tell him, D-Rose. MC D-Rose. No sleepy D-Rose tonight. All right. Someone hit up Def Jam Rock Nation.
Come on, man. Get the trash.
Old Bandage got my scab on it. It tasted like it, Dave. It tastes like it. When Matt takes his glasses off, I cry every time, dude. Antoine, it's just like my eyes fill with tears. Like I'm gagging. Like they're gonna
Tears
run
of
down
joy.
my face. No. Was it ass flavor? Pretty much. It was Old Bandage Sugar Ray every time. Oh. For some reason, Malik's like his terminal illness without glasses on. That's they only see me with glasses, D-Rose. So I guess they don't know what I look like without glasses. Like I don't really wear them the majority of the time, except for when I'm on stream, so I can fucking read the comments.
I've always known you before the glasses, of course, but
yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
but I have seen you more recently with glasses than with not. But
yeah.
Hey, Austin, welcome to the family. Because yes, I have a Kia as well. Hey, they're great cars, great vehicles, nice features in them. I'm sure you probably got a little all-wheel drive, probably got some Apple CarPlay, maybe remote start, something like that. Sometimes it's the little simple things, but welcome to the family.
Oh yeah, D-Rose. Well, hopefully it'll last you like a solid 2 years before it gives you any issues. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need to get contacts. I haven't ever had them. Like wouldn't I get glasses when I was like 23? I got glasses for like the first time in my life, so I haven't ever had contacts. So I've had a few different pairs of glasses, but no contacts before. All-wheel drive, wireless CarPlay. Nice, Austin. Nice. Just make sure you keep it away from those Kia boys, All right,
Yeah.
Heroes. Let's get into the UFC news.
Austin's safe. Austin's safe. As your car guy, those don't get stolen. It's the 21 models. So he's good. He's in the clear.
Fair. Blind without them. Yeah, to be honest, I could probably go without them. I just can't read. I can't read the chat here. That's the thing. It's just like so small, but it's all right. Like I drive without them pretty often and shit. I just can't like read real small letters on on a screen. Anyway, let's get into our UFC news and fight announcements, D-Rose. So,
Dave's blind, but he's got a good eye for my furry thing.
Oh yeah. So I know this is going to be Dave's highlight of the day, D Rose. Are you ready for this? Me and Dave were chatting a little bit last night, but let me pull this up. In news about a day ago, unfortunately, this model citizen, SD, the Reaper, the Hood Wolf, Sadricos Dumas, has been arrested. He was arrested, or this was yesterday. I'm just going to read it to you. UFC middleweight Sadricos Dumas was arrested today in Escambia County, Florida. He is facing serious charges, including home invasion, robbery, possession of a weapon as a convicted felon, possession of controlled substance, battery, and drug equipment possession. This marks his 14th arrest in the county since 2014. D-Rod, if I can give him a little salute there. I don't know why he did that, but what's your thoughts on the Hood Wolf getting arrested, D-Rose, and will he be back in the UFC?
Maybe that's what D-Rod's salute was, saluting him out of the UFC. Maybe I'm trying to give D-Rod some credit here. Maybe that's what it was, saying like, hey, good knowing you, brother, but you go do your thing now and you out of here. Because other than that, I mean, and for Sadricos Dumas, is anybody surprised? Like, nobody is surprised at all. And the fact that it is his 14th arrest within the county, and since 2014. I mean, that's not including anywhere else. That's just within that county itself, dude. You need to get better friends. I mean, you need to, take yourself out of that environment. I mean, I don't know what it is, but this guy just seems to constantly run into trouble. And I don't know if the UFC would really end up putting up with it anymore. I mean, one, he's not really that good of a fighter to begin with. And two, just constant headaches and negative publicity like this. I would not be surprised if the UFC ended up cutting ways with him.
Yeah, man. Antoine's saying this makes me sad because he probably started kicking doors because he felt he was going to get cut soon. But yeah, man. But why not put that energy into training and getting better? Like sucks for the UFC too to make their athletes look not professional. Yeah, I agree. Straight hood.
Well, and that's the thing, like, for Sadricos, I mean, it's individually him, and they'll say UFC fighter, but all the UFC has to do is cut ties with them. As soon as they release them, I mean, that's that's it. They cut their ties with them, and they don't have anything else to do with them ever again. So, kind of like the Jeff Molina thing as well. They just cut their ties and they just do whatever they want, and now there's no association with that fighter. I mean, I don't think it really does anything in a negative light to the UFC, more so just Sadricos.
Speaking of Jeff Molina, did you see that he signed with BKFC, dude? Who the fuck is he?
Yeah, I did. I thought that was I did. I thought it was. I honestly thought he'd be too much of a pretty boy. Yeah, I thought he'd be way too much of a pretty boy.
It's like he wasn't really like that banger in the UFC. It's like he would like leg kick, go for a takedown, do control. And it came out that he might like to control a little bit more than what his opponents did, but that's neither here nor there.
I did actually listen to his interview with Ariel Helwani. He talked about some of that stuff, but I was actually interested to hear him talk about from the betting aspect. And he was saying that, like, I guess one of the bets that ended up like getting him tipped off was like a $350 bet, and I think it was on Nerd and Becky to beat Derek Minner, but he said also he put a bet on Derek Minner as well to win in the first round. I think that's what it was, or something to that effect. Just hearing him talk about it, the whole process of him getting suspended and all that stuff, and he thought he was coming back. It was a really interesting conversation. But yeah, just from the betting aspect of how basically he was betting in the UFC, and then they put the ban on it, and then he still ended up betting after the ban, and they took it very seriously and cut ties with him. And that's another example, man. They just cut ties and say they're done, and that's it.
Yeah, man. Just an odd situation. Anyway, let's move on to this one. We got a fun one here, dude. We got Michael, the Maverick Chiesa, taking on Court, the Crusher McGree. This is set for UFC Atlanta, June 14th. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is it's a well matched fight. I'll say exactly that. I don't know Michael Chiesa is ever in a banger, but a long lasting vet. It's crazy to see how big he is. It's like, how did that dude ever make 155? Like, he's bigger than a lot of welterweights. Like, I'm like, dude, he is absolutely massive. I think he's probably going to have a little bit of a size advantage against Court McGee. Yeah, I think Michael Chiesa will probably be the favorite, but that Atlanta card is starting to stack up pretty good.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. I wish I could make it to that one, dude. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Have you heard about Francis, man? Have you heard about what's going on with that?
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, man. He seems to not have too much luck when it comes to just life here the last couple of years for his part, man. And for him to be involved in an accident, I didn't see any more details since I saw this story released. So yeah. I don't know if he was at fault or whatever the case may be, but yeah, prayers all involved. You just hate to hear the news of that, and yeah, just prayers to Francis just to have just better luck and just better fortune.
Yeah, I'll like read this so everyone kind of knows what's going on. We got Francis Ngannou was reportedly involved in a tragic motorcycle accident in a city in Cameroon over Easter weekend 2025. The accident sadly resulted in the passing of a 17-year-old, and then there's a name here that I'm not going to try to say. Reports are still unclear on whether Ngannou was driving or the passenger at the time. He has not publicly commented, and there is no evidence suggesting that suggesting any intentional wrongdoing. Authorities are still investigating the incident. Yeah, so he's not really in trouble or anything like that, but they're not really sure, what happened or how it happened or if he was even driving. But he was in a car where someone, did get ran over on a motorcycle, dude. Just not a good look. Anyway, moving on. Also for UFC Atlanta, this is going to be the main event, man. We got Kamaru Usman taking on Joaquin Buckley for the main event for UFC Atlanta, June 14th. It's a good one, man. I'm actually excited for this one, dude. And, for all the hate that he gets, or I guess feels like that he gets, I'm excited for this one. And honestly, this is one where I could see myself picking Buckley to be Usman, man. And I'm not the biggest Buckley backer in the world. I think, maybe he acts like he's owed something, and it's not really like that. But yeah, it is what it is. But what's your thoughts on this fight, D-Rose, main event for UFC Atlanta?
I don't think he necessarily. I don't know if acting like he deserves something is the right phrase. Just because I think he is taking kind of the right steps to, the thing that he's been doing with Ian Gary. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of laughing at like a little bit of it. Just him, because he's been wanting to get that fight for a while too. He's been calling a shot with Usman for a little bit. So, the fights that he's kind of calling for, they're kind of coming to fruition for him. And, for him to get, former title challenger in Colby and now former welterweight great and Kamaru Usman, I kind of think it leads to say that Buckley's doing something right to put himself in these types of matchups. And I think, Usman is going to be definitely a tough test for him. But I'm definitely, I'm with you. I don't know if it'd be any secret, but yeah, I'd definitely be leaning Buckley. But Usman's tough, man. He's a tough challenge. We know his boxing's clean. Good wrestling as well. So yeah, that's going to be a fun fight, man. And I think, that's going to be a good test for both fighters to see where both are at.
Fair enough. See what else we got here. Was this announced last week? Poirier versus Holloway 3 for the BMF title, UFC 318.
Yeah, we have not talked about it since.
Oh, we have not.
All right, I didn't think we did. I mean, I know we talked about it on Messenger, but I don't believe we talked about it on.
Okay. Yeah, I know I've been saying this fight was probably going to be the fight that happened, and I know you were like, why would they do that? I don't want to see this fight, but this is indeed the fight that gets booked. UFC 318 for the BMF title. We got Max Blessed Holloway taking on Dustin the Diamond Poirier in his retirement fight as well. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, for me personally, look, am I going to be disappointed ultimately that they're fighting? No. Do I think the fight will deliver? Yes. I mean, it's going to be hard for the fight not to. So I'll say it from that perspective. The big thing for me is that Dustin Poirier is already up 2-0. I think, for 155 right now, it's still kind of bottlenecked up at the top as far as who the next contender could be. For me personally, I think it's a matchup thing. And to me, maybe I'm projecting too much on what I think is going to happen, because I've seen Dustin Poirier beat Max Holloway twice now. And I just think Dustin Poirier's style of boxing is a tough matchup for Max Holloway. I thought for Max Holloway going into the Justin Gaethje fight, Dustin Poirier was telling everybody to put their money on Max Holloway because Max's boxing was much better than Justin Gaethje. Hindsight 2020, but now that fight happened, I'm like, you know what? I actually see what Dustin Poirier meant because Max was able to box him up, similar to how Dustin Poirier did to Justin Gaethje in their first fight. I just see Dustin's boxing just being much cleaner and just a bad matchup for Max. And I think you're potentially killing a contender at 155 if you're going to have him fight Dustin Poirier and the Dustin Poirier rise off into the sunset. That's just how I feel personally. But maybe I'm projecting too much. But yeah, I'll be excited when the fight happens. But just thinking about it coming up, I guess I'm just not the most excited.
Fair. That's fair, D-Rose. I can't hate you for it. That's just your thoughts. Anyway, and then the last one that I have here is Mateusz Gamrot taking on Ludovic Klein, set for UFC Vegas 107 May 31st in the Apex. Care about that one at all?
That's a pretty damn good fight. I mean, that's, Ludovic Klein, big step up for him, and Gamrot's almost kind of turned into like a gatekeeper type now, where he's kind of taking fights against, kind of all comers, doesn't matter who it is at this point. And Ludovic Klein has kind of been a dude on the climb for a little bit now. I think good matchup for Ludovic Klein to try to get himself a top ranking. Should be a good fight.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that one. Should be a banger. With that being said, that's all besides Izzy saying that he would maybe want to rematch Sean Strickland. That's what he told David Goggins. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, they're both kind of in a position right now where I don't think it would hurt either one. I mean, me personally being an Izzy fan, I wouldn't mind seeing him try to get that back just because, dude, you lost to Sean Strickland and you ended up saying that you were going to do a TikTok dance on his grave when you knocked him out, and he styled on you for pretty much 5 rounds. Yeah, I would love to see Izzy get that back, but if Izzy ended up going in there and losing again and kind of getting dog walked by Sean Strickland, I'm a dude at this point, just please hang it up. So kind of mixed feelings about it, but at least it's letting me know that Izzy's got a little bit of a fire in him, and trying to get motivated and fired up for something at least.
Yeah, man, I agree. With that being said, that's all the news that I have. You got anything?
No, really, just besides the Jeff Molina thing.
Okay, all right. Also, let's not to go too deep in detail. Did y'all see the Shannon Sharp stuff? Shannon Sharp stuff. It sucks he stepped away from ESPN. Yeah, I saw where all that was happening. Yeah,
that, and honestly, like, it doesn't, for all these celebrities that get involved in all these things anymore, dude, it's just not surprising. And it was a 21-year-old OnlyFans girl or something like that he was messing with too, like a real young girl. It's just, that's just inviting drama. You're almost 60, dude. Like, slow down. Slow down,
Dude, that's like, it could be her grandpa. That's like three times her age, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think he's like 55 or something like that. So he's not like
Still,
quite
dude.
60, but yeah, still, she's like 21. So, yeah, just rough to see.
Yeah, man. With that being said, let's get into the fights for this upcoming weekend. We got UFC Des Moines, Iowa. We got Corey Sandhagen taking on Davidson Dos Together Figueiredo this weekend. Let me share my screen with you guys. And let me not do volume because we'll see what I've already got a ad here. Anyway, am
I'm
I
getting
sharing?
signed into my Tapology now, so we can do our picks.
Oh shit! Here we go. All right, so this upcoming weekend, taking place May 3rd, 2025. The prelims start at 7 p.m. East Coast time. It's going to take place at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. We have 12 fights to talk about, breakdown. It's going to be headlined
Prelims are
by
7 p.m.
Yep.
Dude, that's going to be like freaking. Oh my goodness, that's going to be like old FS1 days, dude, where cards are going on to like
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be headlined by Corey Sandhagen taking on Dos Together, Davidson Figueiredo. Co-main event is Renier de Ritter taking on Bo Nickel. Feature fight of the night is Santiago, the Argentine Dagger, Ponzinibbio taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. We've got Montel Quick Jackson taking on Daniel Marcos. We've got Cameron Smotherman taking on Surrey City. We've got Jeremy Stevens returning, D-Rose, to take on Mason Jones. We've got Yana Santos taking on Misha Tate. What is this 2015 card, 2018 card? What is this? We got Azamat Bekoev taking on Ryan Loader. We've got Marina Rodriguez taking on Jillian the Savage Robertson. We've got Gaston Bolaños taking on Quang Bang Lee. We've got Don't Mays taking on Thomas the Train Peterson. And the opening fight of the night, we've got Juliana Killer Miller taking on Ivana Petrovich. Fights that did fall off this card were Ji-Young Lee versus Trevor Peak. Trevor Peak did unfortunately break his leg, but he said he wants to get on the Nashville card. Also, Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tacos. Junior Tafa withdrew, and Cheetah Vera versus Mario Bautista was rescheduled. What's your thoughts on the card as a whole, D-Rose?
I mean, it's a pretty good card. I don't think it's as good as the card this past week. I thought, the Kansas City card was stacked from top to bottom. But I will say, they got enough fights on here where I'm super interested in, and enough kind of low key bangers as well. So I would say a solid for Roadshow. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a solid B. I think, good card. Again, there's a couple of potentially sluggish matchups, but I think there's also enough bangers in there. You got enough big names in there. I think it's a solid card, man. I just hate the start time.
Yeah. 7 p.m. is a little late for this for the fight night. Hope your picks hit. I appreciate it, Bob the Beamer. You are too kind. I think it's solid. 7 or 8, says Antoine. All right. With that being said, first fight of the night. Let's get into it. We got Juliana Killer Miller taking on Ivana Petrovich. Juliana Miller is 3-3 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has won 2 of them and lost 3 of them. She is 28 years old, 5'7", and a 66-inch reach, while Ivana Petrovich is 7-2 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she is 3-2 overall, 3 wins, 2 losses. She is 30 years old, 5'8", and a 70.9-inch reach. So Ivana will be the taller, longer, older, probably more well-rounded as well, D-Rose. And before we start, I guess breaking down this fight card, this fight too much. I don't know if you've seen the Juliana Miller hype video for her fight this week, D-Rose. I can actually guarantee you have not seen the Juliana Miller hype video for her fight this week. So I'll go ahead and play it, and I'll let you know, or you can let me know if it makes you, any more confident in Juliana Miller fighting this weekend. All right. So, are you ready
To
for
make
this?
you fired up.
Yeah, I'm fired up after this, D-Rose. So this was posted 5 days out. It says killer activated, officially 5 days out. All right.
Out of there. You gotta move. You gotta move. Out of there. You gotta move.
Golly, dude. So what's worse, that or the Ronda Rousey footage when she was like sparring and she was like shaking her ass when she was like punching at the same time? That is on, dude. That is on par with how bad that was. And she's literally sitting there just getting lumped up. Like she's just like don't like you're a punching bag, and then yeah, that was rough, man. Very rough. She might get finished because that video came out. Like, yeah, she might just get finished. I'll just tell you right now, I'm not even gonna waste time. I was gonna pick Petrovic by decision. I might even go finish just because of that video. Like, I think I'm gonna go knockout. Just because. Like that instilled less confidence in me in Juliana Miller, and I didn't have any to begin with. So yeah, let's go Petrovic by round 2 TKO.
You know what, D-Rose? I'm not even going to front with you. That was my exact pick. Because Juliana Miller, you were talking about Giga having like a magnet in his face for fucking punches against Calvin Kattar, dude. She's got fucking magnets in her fucking face for anyone with fists, dude. Her striking defense is so bad. It's like they could be throwing feints and hit her somehow still. It doesn't even make sense. Like they'd be feinting and she gets hit by the feint.
Dude, Macy and Barber shadow boxing would be such a bad matchup for Juliana Miller.
Yeah. Unlike Jocelyn, you are correct, Dave. Speaking of tough, are you guys going to watch DC versus Chill this season? I'll probably watch the fights. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Soon to be full-time FF girl this season. Oh yeah. Me and D-Rose both on Ivana Petrovic round 2 knockout. Moving on, we got Don't Mays taking on Thomas the Train Peterson. Lord Kong Don't Mays is 11-8 overall, 33 years old, 6'6" and an 81-inch reach, while Thomas the Train Peterson is 7-3 overall, 30 years old. 9-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3 and lost 2. He is 30 years old, 6'1", and a 74-inch reach. Yeah, you heard me say Don't Mays, and that's just because his name tells you don't pick him to win any fights because he's not going to. See this picture? That's what he looks like in the octagon. It looks like he just woke up, man. Every Lord Kong fight, I'm just like, dude, can you get an energy drink or something like an hour before the fight? Like, do you have to roll out of your bed and walk to the apex? Is that what you have to do? But with that being said, I don't know if he'll win another fight in the UFC. I don't know how he's still here, and they have cut Jairzinho Rosenstruck. Yeah, give me Thomas Peterson to win this fight. Dude, the worst part is he could for sure get a ground and pound, and he could for sure do some kind of key lock or for some shit like that, because in his Contender Series fight against that fat ass Chandler Cole dude, I mean, are we going to pretend like fucking Dontel Mays has more promise than Chandler Cole at this point? I mean, because I can't say that. It just seems like he just walks in there and is like, shit, I have a fight today? No one told me I had a fight today. I weighed in yesterday, but I didn't know that meant I had to fight today. That's what Dontel Mays acts like. So it just doesn't. It's just not the best look in the world. Just to be safe, give me Thomas Peterson via decision. Just because 6'1", dude, he's not the biggest heavyweight, dude. This could get sketchy if he gets touched, though. Yeah. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Well, I'll say honestly, I think it can get a little sketchy if he doesn't get it down to the ground, because
that's going to involve him getting touched if he ain't getting it on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he can't get it on the ground, yeah, I think it could be trouble. I say that to say that his striking is non-existent. Like, I mean, for a heavyweight, I mean he will throw a hand, and sure, for a heavyweight, anybody has power, so anybody can knock anybody out. But yeah, I'm not taking Thomas Peterson as somebody who has crisp boxing or anything like that. He's going to have to get the fight down to the ground. I think if it's on the feet, obviously Dontel Mays, your favorite fighter at heavyweight, explosive athlete.
Dude, dude, in the Hamdi fight, Hamdi is an Olympic level wrestler, and this fucking idiot tries to fucking slide tackle, scissor sweep him. Dude, what are you doing? And he just every fight he ends up on the fucking ground. That's why it's like he don't even have to get taken down. He's just gonna fall down. He's gonna do a flying knee and end up on his back because that's what Dontel Mays does.
Yeah, exactly that. Bad IQ decisions and bad moments. So I think that'll just lead to the win for Stephen Peterson here. I'm not putting this in a lot of bets or anything. Or Stephen Peterson, Thomas Peterson. Who is Stephen Peterson? Is that the dude who
he fought at 145?
Fake glove touch, Chase Hooper, right? Yeah, that's your other guy. But yeah, give me Thomas Peterson here by decision.
Yeah, I don't think they'll cut Thomas Peterson, but if Dontel loses, he deserves to get cut. But who knows? To be honest, Antoine. Moving on, we got Gaston Bolaños taking on Quang Bang Lee, the Dream Killer. Gaston Bolaños is 8-4 overall. Like, well, what? Okay. And in his last 5 fights, he has won 3 of them and lost 2. Got smoked by Marcus McGee, but Marcus McGee is good. He is from Peru, 32 years old, 5'7" and a 69-inch reach, while Quang Bang Lee is 8-2 overall out of his last 5 fights. He has 3 wins, 2 losses. Not one in the UFC yet, but close. Dude, he got down Chris Gutierrez a few times there and got knocked out by Zhao Long. So not the best looking in the world. Quang Bang Lee is 33 years old, 5'6" and a 70-inch reach. I haven't even been giving you odds for these fights. I apologize, you guys. Juliana Miller plus 185, Ivana Petrovic minus 225, Thomas Pearson minus 265, Dontel Mays plus 215. Here we go. Gaston Bolaños minus 142, Quang Bang Lee is plus 120. Over under here set at 2.5. The over is minus 166. The under is plus 130. Yeah, D-Rose, this is a hard one for me to even pick back and forth. I don't even have a lean here, if I'm going to be honest, but just for the show, I guess I'll go Quang Bang Lee just to get some takedowns. Win via decision. That's where I'm going, but I ain't confident on that at all, even in the slightest. I know Gaston Bolaños, you've picked him before. What's your thoughts here? I'm gonna go grab a refill and some water while you give your opinion.
Yeah, I have picked Gaston Bolaños before. I actually picked him against Marcus McGee, believe it or not, and looked absolutely stupid for doing so because Marcus McGee obliterated him. I mean, just absolutely smoked him. But I know Gaston Bolaños, he has a good kickboxing background. I know he came from Bellator. He had a few good wins over Bellator as well. Kind of had some explosive knockouts over there. He's got good striking. I think Quang Lee, he's got some decent striking himself, but I think, his path to victory is going to be to want to get it to the ground. For me, I will say that I think that in the Cortavius Ramius fight for Gaston, I thought, his takedown defense looked really good and his striking was on point. Kind of looked like how I thought he would maybe look in the Marcus McGee fight. He looked a little bit sharper. I think if he can carry some of that momentum coming into this fight, I think that's something that Gaston Bolaños can take advantage of with Quang Lee, because I think if it's going to be just a striking match, Gaston Bolaños, he's a decorated kickboxer. I don't know in terms of titles or anything like that, but I know that he had over 70 matches or some odd matches in kickboxing. So, he's very experienced in that realm. I think that he can go in there. I think he gets it by decision.
So you're going Gaston Bolaños?
Yeah, let's go Gaston Bolaños by decision.
All right. I guess what makes me lean.
Actually, give me second round knockout. Second round knockout for Bolaños.
All right. So I'm gonna. What is this? Yeah. The reason I am going Quang Bang Lee is because I think maybe doing a little MMA math because we saw fucking Ramius kind of look like ass in his last fight, and it's like, all right, well, you were stuffing his takedowns. It's not really too impressive, if you will. Bolaños, close enough. I can read it anyway. So me and D-Rose split for the first time. D-Rose on Gaston Bolaños. I'm on Quang Bang Lee. Up next, we've got Julian, the Savage Robertson, taking on Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, 17-5-2 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 1 win and 4 losses. She is 38 years old, 5'6" and a 65-inch reach, while the Savage, Julian Robertson, is 15-8 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 4 wins and 1 loss. She is 29 years old, 5'5" and a 63-inch reach. D-Rose, Marina Rodriguez gets taken down every single fight. She stays safe down there, though. That's the thing. No one's really submitting her out of her, got knocked out by Amanda Lemos, but that was, on the feet early. Verna decisioned her. She did get a decision. I mean, she did knock out Michelle Watterson, but then split decision win over split decision loss over Jessica Andrade and the Yasmin Lucindo. We can add Mackenzie Dern in there as well, dude. It's just like she just gets taken down, man. I don't know if she fought Mackenzie Dern. Yeah or no?
Yeah, she did.
Am I thinking of? Yeah. Okay.
I thought she beat Mackenzie Dern. Did she?
Either way, she just got taken down though. And it's like she stays safe down there. But how many of these girls are really throwing ground and pound like we have seen Jillian Robertson do in her last few fights? In this one right here, the elbows to the b-hole, I mean, fucking Luana Pinheiro's asshole still probably got to be hurt to this day, dude. The 12-6 right on the brown eye, dude. And then, she did get a decision win over Michelle Watterson, dude. I think that if Marina Rodriguez gives down the ground, tries to stay safe, dude, I think we see Julian Robertson start unloading some elbows. So give me Julian Robertson. Be a 3rd round knockout, man. Ground and pound. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup for Julian Robertson. If I'm being honest, man, I think
odds for the fight are plus 240 Marina Rodriguez and basically minus 300 Julian Robertson.
Yeah, I think Marina Rodriguez. This is definitely the stylistic matchup. Marina Rodriguez on the feet. If it's on the feet, Marina Rodriguez will pick Julian Robertson apart. She's got, very technical striking, good with her jab. She throws a nasty 1-2. She finished Amanda. She was like the first to finish Amanda Ribas in the UFC. She basically knocked Ribas out like 3 times in that fight. I was surprised that Herb Dean didn't stop it before. But for Jillian Robertson, we know where her bread is buttered, and that's on her wrestling and getting it to the ground. Her striking, I'm not going to say is non-existent, but the very little that she uses it just so she can try to get the clinch, just so she can try to get the fight down to the ground. She is, and hence her nickname, the Savage. She's a savage on the ground. But it's just a matter of getting Marina Rodriguez there. Marina Rodriguez has good takedown defense, but once she gets taken down is where she gets content. And, just playing defense and not getting submitted or anything like that. And I think Jillian Robertson is just going to be content with taking position, maybe getting some ground and pound off, maybe attempting some submissions, but not losing position and, getting a decision win here. So I think Jillian Robertson gets it done by decision.
Yeah, man. I know there's one thing that Dean Thomas, her coach, has been really emphasizing with her and Sean Brady, and that is ground and pound, dude. So maybe. But yeah, that 3-year decision for Julian Robertson probably not going to be too terrible, right?
Yeah. No, it'd probably be something we might look at. Stay tuned.
Anyway, moving on, we got Abusamed Bekovic taking on Ryan Loader. Iron. Abusamed Bekayev is 19-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he is undefeated. This is his second fight in the UFC. I mean, he did knock out Zach Reese in his first fight, but a few of those were definitely on the back of the head, for sure. Anyway.
When you say a few, probably like half of them.
Yeah. Anyway, he is 29 years old, 6 foot, and a 72-inch reach, while Ryan Loader, Man of Steel, is 7-1 overall. His only loss is to some guy named Troy Green 2 years and 3 months ago. Besides that, he's undefeated. He is 33 years old, 6'2", and a 76-inch reach. Yeah, D-Rose, this is another one where it's like, man, I don't have no lean here. Which way are you going here?
Man, this is tough for me. I mean, I watch Ryan Loader in that fight.
You know what? How about this? I'll give you the odds, and that'll give us both our answer. Ryan Loader plus 320, the dog. Abusamed Bekayev is minus 410, the favorite.
I mean, I don't know if that helps me anymore, if I'm being honest, but give me I don't know, dude. Like I'm not super familiar with either fighter.
Just be safe. We've at least seen Bekayev get a finish in the UFC. I mean, I guess we saw Ryan Loader get a finish in the UFC because he got over Robert Valentin, but I might be a fan of him, but he's let's not pretend like he's the best fighter in the world. Let's be real. He got, refrigerated against Finney. So I'm gonna go Bekayev via first round knockout. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, give me Bekayev. Give me second round knockout.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Bekayev. Anyway, flashback to 2018 or so. We've got Yana Kunitskaya or Santos. Foxy Yana taking on the Cupcake. Misha Tate. I know that was your favorite, D-Rose, when I called her the Cupcake. Anyway, Yana Santos, 15-8 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 2 wins and 3 losses. She is 35 years old, 5'6", and a 68-inch reach, while Misha Cupcake Tate is 20-9 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has 3 losses and 2 wins. She is 38 years old, 5'6", and a 66.5-inch reach. Yeah, Yana looked good against Chelsea Chandler, but it's Chelsea Chandler. As where, Misha Tate looked good, about a year ago against Julia Villa, but that was Julia Villa coming off of just having a baby, first fight back. It's a tough one, man. But strictly because one has held the title and the other one has not held the title, even though I thought she was going to.
You really tried to will that into existence, dude. You really tried. I was going to leave it alone, but man, that was an all-time. That's an all-time take there that I'll never let you live down.
Yeah, way before the podcast even was remotely getting started, wasn't even thought about. I did think Yana Kunitskaya had a chance to beat Chris Cyborg back in the day, but no.
Yeah, nope. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. This chick has no chance. He was like, dude, she's good. And I remember as soon as the fight was over, I was like, dude, you really tried to tell me that, didn't you? Like, it's absolutely rough.
Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, give me Misha Tate just to have more ground control. Maybe go for a rear naked choke here and there. Give me Misha Tate to win this fight via decision. What about you, D-Rose?
If I'm being honest, man, this is actually one of the harder ones to pick. For me, I mean, I think neither have looked great. I mean, for Misha Tate, at this point, I almost wish she had just stayed retired because I felt like she hasn't really looked that great since she's came back. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that she wasn't, in lost for any money or anything like that. Like the fights that she ends up taking where Marion Renault, Julia Avila, against girls who were kind of like 1 foot out the door or something like
Lauren
that.
Murphy.
Okay.
Caitlin Vieira.
Yeah, well, and Lauren Murphy knuckled her up. Lauren Murphy knuckled her up, and Caitlin Vieira knuckled her up pretty good too. Now, Caitlin Vieira is a very tough fight, But I do think that Miesha Tate's wins are against some cupcakes. Let's say that. And for Yana, man, she just hasn't looked that well in her last couple of fights either. And as you said, her last win was against Chelsea Chandler. So, I mean, Chelsea Chandler, we saw she looked here recently. But man, I will say, you're the guy who's supposed to know WMMA, man. I don't see what you're missing with Yana right here. I mean, a good takedown defense, knows how to use footwork, distance. I'm going Yana by decision, man. I think Miesha has one way to win, and really she gets desperate with trying to get takedowns, and she gets hit a lot. And I think that could just be open for Yana to be able to land her teeps, her jab, use her footwork, keep her back close to the fence so that way she can use it to keep her balance for the takedowns, get off the fence, and get off her offense, man. I've got Yana by decision.
All right, fair enough. Where do you rank Miesha? Top 10 all time? Maybe. I don't know if it should be top 10 all time. I don't know. It's tough because you got Zayn, Joanna, Amanda, Valentina. Like she goes down real quick.
Ronda, Carla.
Nah.
You wouldn't rank Carla as far as ahead of her? I mean, so let's say this. Miesha Tate is one of the pioneers.
Wait,
for
are we
women's
asking
MMA.
for her to be top 10 all time, or are you asking if I would rank her ahead of her?
Like, is Miesha Tate Miesha Tate or I mean, I guess, yeah, would you because for me, I don't know Miesha Tate's top 10. Like, she's top 10 influencer, but I don't know in terms of I'd probably still rank Carla as far as ahead of Miesha Tate, in my opinion. Just, her being a champion alone, two-time champ, although in the most unsatisfying ways. But, I mean, two-time champ, I mean, that is more than Miesha can say.
Yeah, true. Hey, she's not done yet. Anyway, me and D-Rose split on this fight. I am on Miesha Tate, D-Rose on Yana Santos Kunitskaya. Up next, we got another fight from back in 2018 or so. Yeah, dude. So last time Jeremy Stephens fought in the UFC was against Mateusz Gamrot 4 years ago. So basically back in 2021. He is returning, the little heathen, Jeremy Stephens, 29-21 overall out of his last 5 MMA fights. Keep that in mind, of his last 5 MMA fights, because he has been fighting bare knuckle as well. He has 4 losses and 1 win. He is 38 years old, 5'9", and a 71-inch reach, while he's fighting Mason the Dragon Jones, who is 15-2 overall. He is 30 years old, 5'10", and a 74-inch reach. He has also been cut from the UFC, and now he is returning. D-Rose, this will be a little heathen Jeremy Stephens' return to the UFC, but this is a one-fight deal. He is coming out here one time. This is kind of his hometown, so it's probably going to be Jeremy Stephens' retirement fight, if we're going to be real. And if I'm going to be completely honest here, this is a winnable fight for Jeremy Stephens. If there's a opponent that UFC matched him up with that is going to be willing to bang, I think Mason Jones might do so. Does he have good takedowns and all that? Yes. But in all the Mason Jones fights that I've personally watched, every time that I've seen him get cracked, his immediate response is to throw really hard back. And if you do that with Jeremy Stephens, I think you're going to get put out, dude. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. Odds for this fight, plus 425 for Jeremy Stephens, minus 575 for Mason Jones. I'm going to say Jeremy Stephens knocks this kid out in the second round, D-Rose.
Cool. That's a gutsy call, man. I mean, I'll say this. I love Jeremy Stephens' kind of like game plan here. I think I told you I heard him in a couple of interviews, on why he signed back with the UFC, and he had just talked about having motivation and all this stuff. And from the way that he was talking, man, because Jeremy Stephens was at one point, I mean, him fighting in BKFC. I mean, dude, he was killing it in BKFC, and he was, making good money.
Knocked out Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, I mean, stopping Eddie Alvarez. I mean, dude, he was on top of the world at BKFC, and basically threw it all away just to come back to the UFC. Taking a gamble on himself, fighting at home, So I could definitely see where you're going with that. But he's also fighting up at 155, where I think that he's kind of typically this is at 155, right?
Yes, but he's not outsized.
Yes.
If you just look at the 5'10" versus 5'9",
No,
he ain't
he's not
outside.
outside. I think Mason's going to be the more dense dude, if that makes sense. Like I think he's going to be the more natural 155er, where Jeremy Stevens was able to cut down to 145 at one point. Yeah, exactly. Versus Jeremy Stevens is going to kind of be a little bit more doughy, let's say, coming in. I think that Mason Jones, he knows the path to victory is going to be take Jeremy Stevens. If you're going to dare jump into Jeremy Stevens' range and try to throw with him, you're going to get cracked, dude. So I'm going to go Mason Jones here, and I'm going to go Mason Jones by decision.
All right, that is the third one. Me and D Rose are split on. I'm on Jeremy, a little heathen Stevens. D Rose is on Mason Jones. Up next, we got Cameron Smotherman taking on Surrey City. The baby-faced killer, Cameron Smotherman, is 12-4 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 wins and 1 loss. He has a UFC win against Jake Hadley. He is 27 years old, 5'9" and a 69-inch reach, while Surrey City is 11-2 overall out of his last 5 fights, 4 wins and 1 loss. He is 28 years old, 5'11" and a 72-inch reach. Yeah, D Rose. For me personally, I like Surrey City's striking a lot more than I like Cameron Smotherman's striking. Cameron Smotherman's going to try, dude. He's overall pretty well rounded. Jake Hadley was a pretty big favorite going into this fight against Cameron Smotherman, because Cameron Smotherman can get taken down pretty easily, and yeah, dude, it was almost like Cameron Smotherman stuffed Jake Hadley's fucking takedowns and just fucking beat him up. That's why Jake Hadley got cut from the UFC after this fight. But with that being said, I this is kind of like a let me see how good Cameron Smotherman is at this point, where we've seen Surrey City a few times now. Split decision win over Garrett Armfield. Okay. This Ramon Tavares split decision loss, he could have won that, and he did, I guess, knock him out. It was a little early stoppage on the Contender Series, but I guess I've seen more of Surrey City at this point. So give me Surrey City to win this fight via decision, D Rose. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, this is another one where I'm just like, I've seen Surrey City fight enough now to, kind of be a little bit more familiar with the style. Just not super familiar with. I remember, Cameron Smotherman getting the win, but, I wasn't able to really see, like, what was he outstanding at? I know he was able to take Jake Hadley down a couple of times and things like that. I will say that Surrey City, he's looked solid in his first couple of UFC fights. Actually, and maybe because I picked Garrett Armfield in that last fight, I thought Garrett Armfield had won that fight, me personally, but I know it went down to a split decision there, tough fight there. And Ramon Tavares, that fight, he ended up, having the unfortunate ending in the Contender Series fight, which is why they ended up doing the rematch in the UFC, lost a split decision there, won a split decision against Garrett Armfield. He is gritty, man. He kind of gets down and gets after it. So I'll go with the guy that I'm a little more familiar with, Surrey City. Let's go by decision.
Fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Surrey City via decision. Up next, we've got Montel Quick Jackson taking on Daniel Marcos. So Montel Quick Jackson, 14-2 overall, 33 years old, 5'10" and a 75-inch reach. And they're going to talk about how big his hands are probably like 3 or 4 times before we get to the fights on Saturday. So just keep that in mind. You're going to hear a bunch of times about how big Montel Jackson's hands are. Anyway, Daniel Marcos on the other hand, yeah, 17-0, 32 years old, 5'7" and a 69-inch reach. D-Rose, odds for this fight: Montel Jackson -198, the favorite. Daniel Marcos +164, the underdog. Yeah, man, this is like the Randy Brown situation. Montel Jackson wins against people that are shitty and old, but dude, he's taking JP Bays to decision and shit, and he fights like one time every like 9 months, just doesn't stay active at all. He's a good fighter, but I don't know why he's fighting. Dude, he knocked out Damon Blackshear in 18 seconds 9 months ago, and this is his first fight back. What are you doing? You're not hurt, dude. How are you hurt? It's just like, what is he doing? I don't know if he's committed to the game, as where I know Daniel Marcos is, and he's undefeated, and he's had a lot of split decisions, but I've seen him beat a lot of really good fighters. So with that being said, I'm going with the dog, the undefeated dog in Daniel Marcos to win this fight via decision. What about you, D-Rose?
So yeah, the biggest thing, as you said, for Montel Jackson is that, just the inactivity. He just fights about once a year. So he's almost kind of like on that Mike Davis type of kick. For me personally, that's what he reminds me of, is that Mike Davis, he fights like once. I think we got twice this year or last year for him. And that was the first time, I think, since he's been in the UFC. For Mike Davis, kind of similar position, guys who have shown a lot of potential, but just don't fight that often. I think Montel Jackson is in that same boat, where shown a lot of potential, big knockouts, nasty submissions, but just not able to really show us enough in the cage because we just haven't seen enough of them. I remember picking Montel Jackson against Damon Blackshear in that fight. We had the pick champ. I believe we watched that fight together, and we were like, wow, like, dude, that quickly. Like, dude, Montel Jackson has the talent to get it done. Daniel Marcos is a good fighter. For me, I will say personally, I don't want to do the MMA math thing, but I thought Adrian Yanez beat him in that last fight. And I really thought there in the third round, dude, Daniel Marcos was running for dear life and was just trying to make sure he didn't get hit. I think for Montel Jackson, he's going to have the range. He's going to be able to have the power advantage as well. I think for Daniel Marcos, if, he's going to have to try to fight in kind of that close quarter range and try to go for the takedown. Because if he's standing at Montel Jackson's kicking range and, just at his punching range, I think Montel Jackson's going to put his lights out, man. And I'm actually going to go Montel Jackson. I'm going to go round one knockout, man. I think Montel Jackson finds the chin, and I think he gets him out of there. So let's go round one knockout for Montel Jackson.
I could see it happening, man. Me and D-Rose split again for the fourth time on the night. Up next, we got Santiago, the Argentine dagger, Ponzinibbio taking on D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. Santiago Ponzinibbio is 30-8 overall out of his last 5 fights. He is 2 wins and 3 losses. He is 38 years old, 6 foot and a 73-inch reach, while D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, is 18-5 overall, 38 years old, 6'1" and a 74-inch reach. D-Rose, we got a battle of 2 38-year-olds here that are well out of their prime. They used to be, pretty good. I remember when D-Rod was like 18-1, dude, or like fucking 16-1. And then now he's just went on this fight. Looked like he just wanted out of there. Got smoked by Ian Gary. And dude, it was the Kelvin Gastelum decision win for me personally. And even the Leach win. Dude, for the past 3 years now, D-Rod has looked like a 38-year-old. So when he turned 35, dude, is almost like, I don't know if his will to keep fighting, it just kind of like went away. Maybe it's the age, maybe it's all the prison fights. He's like, man, I'm not trying to keep fighting. I've already had over 100 prison fights, 100-0 in prison, and then 18-5 out here. It almost kind of looks like he just kind of shows up for a check at this point, as where Ponzinibbio, he's more of the fighter. He has more fight left in him of the two, if you ask me. But the chin is just not there anymore. It's just like, he just seems to get cracked, tagged almost every single time. Do I think D-Rod has the power to hurt Ponzinibbio? I don't. But strictly due to just chin volume, I'm gonna go D-Rod via decision. How about you, D-Rose? Also, odds for this fight. Sorry, I always do this. Odds for this fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio -110 and D-Rod -110. So split down the middle.
Yeah, well, and I think a big thing for D-Rod, because I remember when he made his UFC debut against Tim Means, and dude, he came in and had a great performance. He ended up hurting Tim Means on the feet and ended up submitting him. And I was like, dude, for me personally, you know how much of a Tim Means fan I am. I was like, dude, if he smokes Tim Means like that, I was like, this dude must be pretty damn good. And he finished pressing Parsons quickly. But the big thing, I thought the big turnaround for him was, going back and looking at it now, I did forget that after that Leach fight, I believe it was after the Kevin Lee fight. I think he had some surgeries and stuff like that to where he ended up taking about a year off. And he came back and had that fight against the Leach. He had that weird split decision. A lot of people thought he lost the fight.
The weight was all like fucking weird too for that fight.
Well, yeah, that was more on Hamzat and them. Like, I think him and Leach, they ended up making 170 anyway, but it was supposed to be like a catch weight, and then they basically were like, hey, stop cutting weight, whatever. But that was a weird fight. But really, from that point on, after he took that year off after fighting Kevin Lee, when he had those, I think he tore his ACL or something like that, he had surgery on. He just hadn't really seen the same. I think for Ponzinibbio, man, he's became a smarter fighter since I believe he's an analyst now on the Spanish broadcast for the UFC. So he's became a lot smarter of a fighter, but he's still got that explosiveness to him. I mean, I thought in the Carlson Harris fight, I thought he looked great. He was, maybe he was losing that fight in the third round. Who knows? But, at that point, Ponzinibbio knew that he needed to try to put the stamp on the fight. And he went out there and he got the knockout, man. And I think he's going to be faster than D-Rod, smarter fighter, as I said. So I'm going Ponzi. I think D-Rod's a little bit tougher to hurt. So I'm going to go Ponzi by decision.
All right. Me and D-Rose split again. I'm on D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, while D-Rose is on Santiago Ponzinibbio. We'll move on to the next one. Co-main event of the evening. We got Reinier de Ridder taking on the UFC's prize in Bo Nickel. RDR, Reinier de Ridder, is 19-2 overall. He is 34 years old, 6'4", and a 78-inch reach. While Bo Nickel, 7-0, undefeated, 29 years old. Damn, 29? 6'1", and a 76-inch reach. Did you see Bo Nickel this week? Do you think he was, trolling, or is he actually like 222 this week? I don't know if you heard me.
What? I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't. I was reading one of the
I said, do you think like fucking Bo Nickel's trolling like this week? Like he fucking put out a video where he was like fucking weighing like 222 this week. Do you think he's trolling, or is that an actual struggle he's having this week making weight?
I would have to imagine that. I mean, he's probably a big dude, but look at him physically. He's not Paulo Costa.
Right.
Yeah, he's not Paulo Costa, man. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's trolling.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. And dude, and I'm glad you kind of just brought up the whole size fucking situation, dude. Because if there's a fight that he could lose, it damn sure could be this one. Odds for this fight, D-Rose, plus 270 Reinier de Ridder, minus 340 for Bo Nickel, dude. So the Bo Nickel tax is gone after that Paul Craig fight. And yeah, dude, if he didn't knock out Paul Craig, I don't think he knocks out Reinier de Ridder. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And also, if this ends up on the ground, man, dude, Reinier de Ridder was submitting light heavyweights. He's just a big fucking dude. And something tells me this week Bo Nickel loses his O, man. Give me Reinier de Ridder. Does he submit him, or he wins via decision? Let's get Reinier de Ridder via decision, D-Rose. Which way are you going here?
Yeah, I think, this is another tough one to call because, Reinier de Ridder, he comes in against that GM3 fight and, GM3, kind of lumping him up there early on in the fight. I mean, that ended up being a fun fight. So, I'm not complaining with it. It ended up being a fun fight. He got the, knockout there or did he get the club and sub or the knockout but anyway, he got the finish against GM3 and, got the finish against Kevin Holland. He's looked good since he's came over to the UFC. And for Bo Nickel, he's had his moments so far, but I really do think that Paul Craig performance was almost kind of like an eye opener, because Bo Nickel has came in as like a massive favorite in a lot of these fights, and minus 1,600, minus 2,000, and such these large numbers, and now you're seeing it now, and what is it? You said minus 3, minus
340. 340.
Yeah, minus 340. So I mean, with that, that I think the respect is starting to come back to his opponents to say that, like, Bo Nickel is a good fighter, but there's limitations to his game. I'm with you, man. I think RDR's got the experience edge over Bo Nickel. If this fight ends up getting a little bit deeper into the, later into the rounds, Renier de Ridder's offering some resistance in the wrestling against Bo Nickel. If this is on the feet, I'm going to trust Renier de Ridder to have the better striking of the two. And I think Renier de Ridder can cause a lot of scrambles in the grappling as well, especially with him being able to throw up the jiu-jitsu the way he can. I know he's a better offensive jiu-jitsu guy than a defensive jiu-jitsu guy, but I think if he can get some scrambles and cause Bo Nickel to kind of be in awkward positions that he hasn't been in the UFC yet, that can work to Renier de Ridder's advantage as well. So give me Renier de Ridder by decision.
Fair enough. Me and D-Rose the same on that one. I thought that was going to surprise you, me not picking Bo Nickel there.
No. I think the Paul Craig fight, I think it put a lot of bad taste in everybody's mouth for Bo Nickel, and I think a lot of people honestly want to see Bo Nickel lose at this point too.
Fair. All right. So main event of the evening, we got 5 rounds in Corey Sandhagen versus Deuce Tiguera, Deiveson Figueiredo. So the Sandman, Corey Sandhagen, 17-5 overall, 33 years old. His time is now. 5'11", 70-inch reach, while Deuce Tiguera, the God of War, Deiveson Figueiredo, is 24-4-1 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. 37 years old, 5'5", and a 68-inch reach. D-Rose, I think this is where Deiveson meets his. I mean, like we kind of saw against compared to Jan, but once he starts, fighting guys that are at the top of this division, actually 135ers, is where he's going to start running into issues. And I just think Corey Sandhagen's too big, dude. He is long. They're going to be in a big octagon, so he's going to have solid footwork. And at some point, dude, I think he touches Deiveson Figueiredo's chin, and I think he knocks him out. Let's go round 3 knockout, Corey Sandhagen. Odds for this fight, Corey Sandhagen minus 535. Deuce Tiguera, Deiveson Figueiredo is plus 400. The underdog. Over under here is 4.5 though. Over is minus 220. The under is plus 170. So pretty much Corey Sandhagen via decision is what the bookmakers think.
Yeah, and I can understand why. I mean, that is Sandhagen's typical way of winning. And for me, I mean, I think Deiveson Figueiredo, obviously a dangerous guy, powerful. He can use some of his wrestling as well. But I do think that, man, this is just it's a tough matchup for Figueiredo. Corey Sandhagen, he's got kind of some of that. I think I made the comparison last week with Ian Gary, but kind of him and Ian Gary have a similar fight style in the sense that they're both really smart fighters, but it has jumped in the way of their potency in terms of how they fight. Like, they're not as dangerous now because they use their IQ so much to help them win fights. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not going to be the most crowd pleasing from time to time. So I think this one is going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of Figgy just being on the outside and just taking big shots, missing a lot. I mean, I think, Corey Sandhagen can get hit from time to time, but for me personally, I think that, Sandhagen, I think he can use some of the wrestling, but I think just footwork, being on the outside, he's got a good jab. I think Figueiredo is going to try to get the fight down to the ground himself. I mean, we've seen Sandhagen have pretty good takedown defense for the most part. Fended well against Umar for the most part. So yeah, I think Figueiredo won't be able to get the takedowns. And if he doesn't land a big shot, I don't see how Figueiredo wins the fight. So give me Corey Sandhagen. Give me by decision.
Fair enough. So me and D-Rose, not the same, but picking the same fighter there. Yeah, I just think, dude, it's it's almost like fucking Figgy has found out that his power doesn't really translate up to 135. Like he had to go take down Cody Garbrandt to get him out of there. Like, well, what are we doing here? So, I mean, and then he got knocked out at 125 by Brandon, and Corey's a big fucking dude. So,
well,
I know not saying weight
hold
cut
on.
and but like and all that.
Yeah, no, Figgy's power carries. When he's fighting the biggest 135ers, he can't use his weight as an advantage against them like he could against the smaller 125ers, because first guy to drop Cheetah Vera, he dropped Peter Yan in the last fight in the 4th round. Knocked Rob Font all across the octagon, and Rob Font has looked good in his last few fights. So I'm not saying that Figgy has not looked good, but as he starts getting matched up against the bigger top of the 135, it's just clear that he can't use his size advantage anymore like he did against the smaller 125ers. Because I mean, look at the size advantage that he had over Benavidez when he was just monstering over him, you know. And now look at him compared to Peter Yan.
Like, why,
dude?
I made the most
I was
money
thinking
on
about
fight
that the other
ever,
day,
dude. I was like, why did they run that back, dude? I bet Figgy again by a fucking knockout, and I would cash that shit again, dude. Like, what are we doing?
It was like to watch Benavidez just get absolutely mauled the way he did in that second fight. Like, it was almost like, because if Figgy beat Benavidez down in that first fight, dude, that second fight was like, y'all dare put this dude in front of me again? Like, it almost reminded me of the episode of SpongeBob when SpongeBob's running and he's like, help, that guy's going to beat me up. And it's like the old man sitting there. And the guy's like, oh, you want some more of this, old man? Like, I just thought, Benavidez was like the old man, and Figueiredo's like, oh, you want some of this again, old man? Sitting there popping his knuckles and beating his ass, dude. Just one of the worst ass beatings I've ever seen.
All right. So, with that being said, pick champ for this week, D-Rose. We have 5 different fights. I don't like the first one. So, it will be Yana Santos versus Miesha Tate. I know you like that one. It'll be D-Rod versus Ponzi for number 2.
This is tough.
Yeah, I guess 3. Daniel Marcus Montel Jackson is number 3.
Oh,
do you think I'm
what are the
giving
three?
you a giant? All right, so first fight of the night. All right, so our 3 different picks this week: Miesha Tate, Yana Santos, Daniel Marcos, Montel Jackson, and D-Rod versus Santiago Ponzinibbio.
This is good. I'm cool with that.
My only other option was Jeremy Stevens versus fucking Mason Jones, and he's like a plus 400 dog. Let me not fuck myself again this week.
I mean, I like my chances. And that's dog, and even money. So I'll take it.
All right. Figgy is too old now to win such a light. Yeah. Kamzat actually, that wouldn't be close. I don't think so. This card's kind of mid. They canceled Trevor Peek. I know. I was excited for Trevor Peek to fight on here, down at 145 too, but I guess we'll see. That fight got moved as well. But with that being said, so pick champ for this week: Miesha Tate, Yana Santos, Daniel Marcos versus Montel Jackson, and D-Rod versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Getting that strap back this week, and you're going to be eating some fucking beans, D-Rose. All right, for podcast play of the week, what do we have? So we both like.
This was a tough one. I've been kind of going through, like as the pod has been going. I mean, for me, it's got to be Sandhagen 4-5 or decision. I mean, for me, it's got to be, but it's minus 195. But
all right. So for you, Sandhagen 4-5 or decision. It's not open yet, but for me, it'll be Jillian Robertson 3 or decision. So Corey,
nice.
4.
I can get jiggy with that
decision, and Jillian 3 or decision. All right, so that will be the podcast play of the week. We don't have exact odds yet because it ain't opened, but like Julian Robertson money line with Corey Sandhagen over that much. Let's see, Corey Sandhagen over 3.5 mixed with Julian money line is minus 116. Yeah, so we'll probably get some like, I don't know, I guess plus 125 or something like that. That's my guess. Yeah, podcast play of the week, Julian Robertson 3 or decision, and Corey Sandhagen 4-5 or decision. That's what it is. All right. And
Sounds like some great plays to me, man.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back on this shit,
dude,
because we've been fucking losing them these past few weeks. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, and I mean, who would have thought that Jocelyn Edwards was going to get a first round knockout? And then who on God's green earth thought that Matt Schnell and Jimmy Flick was going to go over? Like
Even watching
nobody
it,
thought either or.
even watching the fight, I was like, oh, this shit's going under, and then somehow that shit sneaks over, dude. I was like,
but once I knew it was going to be a scramble fest, I knew it was going to be hard because, you can land a couple big shots and get somebody out of there. Like, Matt Schnell, we obviously seen him get chin from a fly hitting his chin. But, Jimmy Flick, you got to throw some ground and pound in there or something, dude. Like, we've seen Matt Schnell get chin too many times.
Yeah. Montua, us personally, if she was just too big of a favorite, like, I'm not going to. Like I have to bet plus money, so I'm just trying to find just trying to get that number down, because she was like fucking minus 350, right? It's like she was a
something
big
like
favorite.
That. I did have her money line in like a 7-8 leg parlay, just a money line parlay. But I didn't bet it straight up money line.
And then fucking Michel, fuck that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That bastard.
Yeah. All right. But that's going to be it for the show today. I'll be back here, Change the Cheddar Friday, giving y'all my last post weigh-in picks after weigh-ins, letting you know if anything changed or anything like that, giving my final picks and bets, and then I'll have the parlays as I always do to share with you guys. Anything before we get out of here, D-Rose?
No, no, good pod today. Let's hope to get some money this week, man, and come back to pick champ again. Let's go.
All right. With that being said, we appreciate all y'all for stopping by here, hanging out with us here today on the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. Once again, if you haven't already, treat that like button like Malcolm Wellmaker treated Cameron Simon this past weekend. Just try not to break anything. And with that being said, me and D-Rose will see you next week right here on the podcast again. You'll see me Friday for Change the Cheddar. But with that being said, my name is Matt D-Rose on that cyber screen, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.